What up, everybody? Welcome to a new Comic Crusaders special where we're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of ASAP Comics UK. Wepa! What up, what up, what up? I'm very happy here to introduce my homie, the one and only, the CEO of ASAP, the man that spoke to me over a year ago when this was just a thought in his brain. And now a year later, brother, I am so proud of you. I'm none other than Mr. Paul Hayden. What's going on?
How's it going? I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Fired up. Very proud of my fellow Crusader here. And the amazing team is formed. Wish we have a sample here. But even before we do that, first we also do have a special guest here with us today because one of the books that you have out, Perspectives, is going to, the funds for that collected are going towards a really good deed. So let me introduce Sophie Kayani from the Dyspraxia Foundation. How you doing?
Hi, everyone. Doing good. And you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming on and hanging out with us, so you could meet the wonderful creators behind this awesome project. And of course, we have the rest of the amazing team. We got L.A. Cunningham. She sounds so gangster, L.A. Cunningham, like a rapper. You better drop some bars soon, L.A. All right. And then we also have the amazing Sarah Butcher. What's poppin'?
Hey.
Okay. Then we got the fellow Crusader, the one only Nemesis.
Where? Oh, yeah.
Then we have the cover designer of that gorgeous looking book, the one and only Kelsey Connor.
Hello.
And we also have an editor on the book, Jesse Monday. What's going on?
Hey, glad to be here, guys.
Well, thanks for coming on. This is great. It's been a year. You guys have done amazing things within the ASAP universe, if you will. But you have this amazing project, in order to celebrate that 1-year anniversary. So, Paul, let's dig right in and let people know what the amazing book that is Perspectives, which is available on Amazon now, folks. Look at that, how hot and gorgeous that book looks. All right, look at that cover. Tell us about it.
So when we wanted to do something with the Anyone world and we wanted to launch something, we wanted to launch it with something big, and we wanted to launch it with something that was quite grand, and we wanted to include as many people as possible. And obviously, on Twitter and all social media, we all have friends who are writers, and we all have, it's a great community. So we decided to reach out, and we came up with the idea of the anthology. It was something, me and Laurie had done an anthology together before. So it was like, that's how we kicked off, main continuity. So it just seemed great to do the same thing for this. And the response we got was incredible. It was so great. And so many talented people, whether they were writing, editing, designing, so on and so forth, they gave their time and their talents so, readily, and they were so helpful. And yeah, it's been incredible, man. It's so great.
I saw, Nem did a special little video on the weekend anniversary that I understand had you bawling.
He did a video for the 1-year anniversary. I didn't know it was coming, and I will admit I shed a tear or 12. I'm a big emotional soppy man, and yeah, it was really nice. And then what was really great was people from Perspectives were included in that video as well, and it was just nice to see what it means to them as well. It's just, it's all good vibes.
That's great. And as I know, I've spoken to LA and Sarah before. So how do you guys feel seeing this project come to fruition and for such a good cause?
I think it's just wonderful to be a part of. I know Paul has been wanting to do something like this for a while, and Dyspraxia obviously is close to his heart. So it was amazing to be a part of this. Like, I got to write a story and also got to do a little of the behind the scenes work. So it was just super fun to be a part of and see it all come to fruition and see all these authors and read all their stories. And it's incredible, the product that we were able to make.
Excellent. What about you, Sarah?
So I was hands off for this project, but I was so excited to see everybody.
You're the cheerleader in the background. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
we need that emotional support, the emotional support. Gotcha.
And the cover is just gorgeous. So Kelsey, great job on that.
Let's talk about that too, Kelsey. Where was that inspiration behind that cover, folks? Let me show it off again. Look at this. Sick. So where did you dig in order to come up with that, look?
Well, Lori and Paul had originally come to me with this idea of an eye because, it really represents the idea of perspectives very well. So I kind of took what they had showed me, which was a lot of free imagery, and I was like, I want to make you something custom that is going to be one of a kind and look and feel like it's bringing you into the publication world with a bang, really.
Oh, literally, because again, folks, I mean, look at it. Boom, right there in the middle. It just hits you. Gorgeous, gorgeous, yo. And again, I love it. By the NE1 world. Oh, man, we got to talk about that, too. What's NE1? But, of course, you, David, too, my fellow Crusader, man, that I know since I met you, you had the bug of wanting to be a writer and hooking up with Paul. I'm seeing everything come to fruition. And you're another Crusader that I'm wholeheartedly proud of. So how do you feel in this journey?
Yeah, it's just super exciting. I can't say good things about Paul and the whole ASAP team and Lori and Sarah. It's just been absolutely incredible. Me personally, I've got lots of stuff in the pipeline that, I can't talk about yet, but stuff coming down. And then the stuff in this perspective book, I got my copy yesterday, started reading. As someone said, I'm a demonic speed reader, so I tore right through it. But I finished it. It's just absolutely incredible. You got vampires, you got monsters, you got space spies, you've got high fantasy, you got everything in there. You got you got stories that give you the feels. It's just really, really incredible collection of stories by a very talented bunch of writers for an incredible cause. So I can't say enough good things.
And talking about the cause, Sophie, yes, ma'am. Let's talk about how do you guys feel at this Dyspraxia Foundation that Paul is undertaking this amazing journey and all for the foundation.
I mean, absolutely blown away. I mean, it's it's just incredible. I've not read it back to back. I've seen the foreword. I know it's just great to be recognised, and especially a charity that has been established for over 30 years. We've survived through a lot. It's not easy running a charity. I have to big shout out actually to my chief exec, Eleanor Howes, because she's been involved for 25 years plus. I'm actually a massive sci-fi fan. It's kind of like the stars were aligned. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So, hats off to all of you guys. And we just feel very privileged that, Paul has done this with us in mind.
Excellent. Have you had the opportunity to have the product in hand yet?
No, Eleanor's got it. She sent me some photographs, saw the forward. I was like, I spoke with Paul yesterday. I felt he's right. He's a very emotional guy. I came off that phone call feeling very emotional.
There you go. He's just spreading the feels everywhere. This guy. This is what he does, man.
100%.
Excellent. I love to hear this, man. So, all right. So we have you guys, right? Then we have a lot of people in the background here that actually want an opportunity to also talk about what's popping, right? But there also is a video that I just uploaded that Dave sent over. It's basically about ASAP Year One. It's a very short video. Let me play that, really quickly for us. Man, I'm like saluting that mother. Wow, awesome job, man. Paul, how you feel? I mean, that's like,
yeah, it's incredible. It really is. You know, it's seeing the books as well, together and yeah, I'm getting emotional again. No, it's just wonderful, man. It's so good. It's so good. You know, I'm very grateful to everyone, not just for perspectives, but, you know, but for the last year. I mean, obviously me, Sarah, Laurie, Nem, we work together like closely all the time, and you know, and we're all kind of, you know, getting stuff done, and then the team's building, and obviously, you know, you've got people who have got stuff going on, like for example, Jess has been editing like an absolute machine on the book, and you know, also congratulations to Jess, who's just had a little baby as well.
hey,
So
congrats.
yeah, but again, she's still giving her time, and it's just like you can't be more grateful than that. It's so great.
Yeah, and I have to add, on a personal note, I got to give all the shout out to editors. I mean, Jess and Sarah have edited my stuff and just make it 10,000% better, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know where to put a comma to save my life. So,
Same.
so they saved me. So.
Oh yeah. So how is that journey from the editorial side? I mean, a lot of the people here, this is, you know, their first opportunities, you know, into the journey. So, you know, how is that experience? Can you see that difference from somebody that's been, you know, that's a rookie, and somebody that is, you know, a senior in their craft? Is it interesting, the things that you find?
Oh, this was definitely a so interesting project, just because, yeah, having 16 stories to go through, and as we've mentioned, so many different genres, and yeah, so many different, like, there have been people who have published before and people where this was brand new, but every single project just gave me something new to work with. And honestly, looking up like details and fact checking, I have learned so much about.
Welcome to geek culture. Yay!
So yeah, I've just felt so honored to be a part of all these stories and to be able to work with them. And yeah, working with all the authors, they have been great, you know, communication back and forth, bouncing ideas off each other. So it's just been amazing getting to see so many different types of stories all at once in this sort of whirlwind. So yeah, it was just awesome to experience beginning to end.
You mentioned fact checking being interesting and you learning a lot. What was maybe the coolest or funniest thing that you did not know of that you found out?
I learned a lot about photography at home. If you are going to make your own photography, I looked for a very long time into the naval ranks of the U.S. Navy. Black and white can refer to both police cars as well as photographs, whether or not you hyphen them.
Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Editorial lesson there, folks. You're either talking about colors or popo, you know?
Yeah. Big difference.
Awesome. And LA, talk about your contributions for the year and your journey in it. Because I know I spoke to you months ago and you were all giddy and you know you had those moments like, oh man, but then it seems like you fall into an amazing stride and just been kicking ass. So talk about that a bit.
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible. It's hard to believe that we've done so much in such a short amount of time. Like when Paul and I were first working on our Points of Villainy, Points of Virtue anthology, it was crazy and it kind of felt like it was never going to happen. And then all of a sudden it just happened. And then it's almost like once you hit a milestone, everything starts to seem possible. It's like someone breaks the 4-minute mile and then everyone can break the 4-minute mile kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, things have just been rolling, and I've been working on a comic, or we've been writing a miniseries, and Paul's been helping me out. And then this anthology came up, and I volunteered for some of that as well. So there's just a lot going on, and it's nice to see things kind of come together. And the first half of the year has felt there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and the second half really seems like there's going to be a lot out in front of the scenes. Is that a thing? But
yeah, definitely
coming out to the public, so it's fun to get to share all this.
Awesome. And Sarah, what was your biggest cheerleader moment for the team as you were supporting them? What was the moment that you said, "Yeah, go team," and you let out the greatest cheer ever?
That's a hard question to answer. I feel like there were so many moments like over the last year, like, okay, probably just seeing Paul and Lori work together in general. I love watching them work together. Like, they're such a good team and everything. And also Lori getting her editor-in-chief
title. Hey,
yes.
That's right. ERC.
That was actually, I think that was probably the biggest one. I was like, Lori, but we're critique partners outside of ASAP too, so that's probably part of the reason.
No, but that's awesome. Definitely, women kicking ass.
They're great. They're a great team. I love it.
Excellent. And are you, Kelsey, are we going to see more of your artwork on covers and stuff like that in the ASAP universe? What's going on here? Because after a cover like that, I got to see more.
Thank you. Well, I hope so. My full-time job is actually creative lead and graphic designer, but I'm looking to get it more into the fiction world because that's where my passion lies as a writer myself. So,
nice.
Yeah, some things in the works with Paul and Lori at the moment and ASAP. So I'm hoping that you'll see a lot more of my work in the future.
And where does your fandom lie?
My fandom.
Yeah, like what type of fandom do you like? Are you a sci-fi person, superhero person, the slice of life person?
I'm a fantasy girl.
Fantasy.
Tolkienista, later Harry Potter.
Tolkienista. Wepa. That sounds tough. I love it. Great. So hopefully ASAP got to do some of that stuff too. Going some ASAP of Thrones. A king gets replaced every day, getting their heads chopped off. I don't know. I think that's a great idea. All right, let's start moving in some new cats into it because what everybody here has been a key part of the ASAP universe as a whole. But of course, we're here to also talk about that amazing book that is supporting the Dyspraxia Foundation and Perspectives, and we have a boatload of the creators ready to go and start talking about their journey, their story, so that way they could entice you to pick up this book at Amazon. Yes, folks, it's on Amazon. Kid you not. Right? Again, here it is. There it goes on screen. You see, that's the bad boy. It's available right now. All right. Each person has their own story to tell, their own voice, their own perspective. Sexy. I love that tagline. Great job. Great. Who came up with that?
That was you, Laurie, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Nice. All right. So, Paul, who you want me to bring in next from the team?
You can do potluck. You can bring in. They're all amazing and ready, so it's fine.
All right. You know what? Let's bring in Big Tim. He's been chilling there on his throne. One of the folks that's involved in the Perspectives book, Mr. Tim Davis. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. And thank you for being part of the ASAP family and having an amazing story to tell within the book. So please tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and then let's dig into your contribution into Perspectives, your story.
My throat is going out right when I need to talk.
Drink some water, guy.
I'm not really from anywhere anymore. My family moved 5 times before I turned 18. I've lived in Utah, Nevada, California, and as well as Canada and Australia when I was growing up. Came to LA to do the acting thing, and I kind of stumbled into I got very lucky with an opportunity at Endless Mile Studios. Check out Endless Mile Studios doing some
damn right.
Endless Mile, yo, through the Geek Fest Film Fest is how I connected with you. Love you guys, man. You guys are so creative. You guys got a new film out too. I understand. So yeah.
Yeah, it's in post-production, yeah. So
it's in post. Excellent. Hey.
Yeah. What was the other question?
The other question is your story within Perspectives. Give us a little bit about that story and entice these people as to why they need to buy Perspectives to read that story you put in there too.
Okay. The story I contributed is called The Surprises Never End, and it's sort of a dystopian future story with sort of a Western flavor to it. And it's about a boy who grows up knowing parts of his future. And it's kind of about how crappy it would be to know your own future. So it's a bit of an up and down story. Not as big of a downer as it was in the early draft, but
Yeah, well, that already has me messed up because, what if I don't make it? I don't want to see my tomorrow. Then I'm just going to give up now. God, that's a horrible twist. So is that what the character is dealing with? That mind F, if you will? Of, I see my future and it's like, oh my God, am I doomed to it though? Is it set in stone?
It's sort of that existential dread of I don't want to know everything that happens to me down the line. And it's also right around the time where he has to pass a coming of age trial, and he doesn't know how he gets through it because there's a blank on his memory over that, and it's about him just going through that trial and kind of about the details of his life leading up to that.
Wow. And can I ask, what's the origin story of Tim Davis and ASAP?
The origin is I got involved with Endless Mile Studios, as I said, and they were kind of connected to, or they were getting to know ASAP around the time I was starting with them.
Okay.
And that's kind of the connection is, so I know Paul through my boss, Josh, at Endless Mile Studios, essentially.
Gotcha. There you go. You see, man, because we had them on the podcast right here on Comic Crew. And Paul was like, I love this movie. I want to join in and talk to these guys. And look at that. It led to blessings. Lots of blessings, man. I mean, how amazing is that? So you never know, folks, that, that one moment that you meet someone, what that could lead to, which is great. This is why, again, all about perspective, right? Yeah, there's a perfect example of that. So, Tim, thank you so much for jumping on, because I know we have other teammates here. So I'm going to let you go drop off. But again, Tim, if we wanted to check you out, right, I believe you are at, what is your social?
I don't really use Twitter a lot, but if you want to follow me, Instagram, Tim Lang 10 is my Twitter. My Instagram is the real Tim Shady 666. It is mostly gaming scale miniatures. Just so you know.
And that's the real Shady man right there. T Shady, I love it, man. Yo, we got to drop an album with you in LA. I'm telling you, There you go. All right, much love, Tim. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you off, and I'm gonna bring in another amazing creator. All righty, folks. Next up is a fellow Crusader that's also contributing in the book, the one and only Bracey. If he's listening to us, because he looks so concentrated.
All right, sorry, I was pulling a little something up because I didn't realize you were going to hit all the social media, and I was like, I don't remember everything off the top of my head.
That's all right. Listen, I got you right here at Bracey452 on the Twitterverse. This is no worries, man. That's what it is. So Bracey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Definitely really glad to be part of this. I don't think I've told many people in the Comic Crusaders otherwise. I actually come from a very medically oriented family. My mom and her sister were both nurses for decades. My stepdad and one of my brothers and one of my sister-in-laws, chiropractors, lots of chiropractors in the family. I was in a medical unit in the military.
Thank you for your service, brother.
Oh, thank you back. I'm very, very happy to have contributed to a very worthwhile cause. I'd never even heard of this particular ailment. So I would definitely, if you guys ever have a similar project, I'd be more than happy to donate my time and efforts once again to this.
Thank you, man.
Very worthy cause.
Thank you
for
so
everybody
much.
listening
Thank
out
you.
there. I've been spraying it around as much as I can because there's so many people who need so much help, and it just makes all of our all the other concerns we see going on in the world seem so very petty when you consider there are people who are living with real problems.
Yes.
So glad to be a part of this.
Yeah. So let's talk about how did you get involved in the project? Obviously, as fellow Crusaders, that's all it took.
Yeah,
but
that made it easy. Of course, knowing Paul from the Crusaders was a big help. I'd talked to him perhaps about doing something before, but I was having some vision problems, and that led me like, I don't know if I can follow through. And I didn't. I kind of told him, I don't know if this is going to happen or not at the time. So when this opportunity came up, I was glad to get there because at the time when I was, I'm normally an artist, but I've been writing off and on most of my life. I just when you're a creator, I don't just draw. Like when I create a character, I create an entire backstory. So I've always been creating stories, been putting out short fiction here and there on forums and whatnot when that was a big thing. Write my own comic scripts, my own short film scripts, and I'm D&D gaming. You write out these storylines when you're the forever DM. So when the prompt came up in our podcast, was it Nick, you, Nemesis? You're the one put out there the chance to write for this because all of
I mentioned on Sloppy Spoilers. And
there you go, Sloppy Spoilers, shout out and cinema. Yeah, two monster shows.
So all of us in the Sloppy Spoilers are in one way or another writers in our own, and that's the way we often approach doing movie and comic book reviews and that sort of thing. So we take it in as fans and also as writers. So I was very excited to participate, not just for the point of the charity, but also to actually have a first officially published piece of fiction done. Not something that was just kind of put online, hey guys, what do you think about this sort of thing? So it's nice to do that. And I've got to say, it was a real pleasure working with Jen. Never worked with an editor before. And, so
you're one of the rookies that she's talking about. There we go.
It's one thing, like in the art community, you get a lot of feedback, and that really helps you. Or like I bounce ideas off my wife, and I get that sort of thing. Like she usually confirms my suspicion: is this working? Is it not working? And sometimes I do that with story points as well. But Jen, as an actual editor, really helps you trim things down. There's a thing you do like when you're making film or even writing, when they say like you gotta kill your children or kill your darlings, and I've been a fan of guys like I grew up like Stephen King and Clive Barker. My story is horror themed, and H.P. Lovecraft, and Lovecraft in particular is incredibly verbose with all kinds of just layers and layers of description. And Jen was able to trim down some of that fat, and best of all, she was incredibly patient and incredibly giving as well, because I would just pepper her with questions like, okay, so why do you want to change this? Because my thing is, I'm not trying to be a diva, but if you can help me understand, then I'm like, okay, because between the two of us together, I think we were able to put out the best story possible. And she has my dying gratitude for that.
Well, thank you. And yeah, you were great to work with. I am not afraid of questions at all. I love the communication back and forth because, again, it's not, what I say automatically goes. It's we are trying to make your story the best it can possibly be. So I love the collaboration.
So talk about that just for that one section. As an editor, I mean, educate writers just a little bit. What besides communication, what else is key here? Because again, let's take this as an educational moment as well. There's a lot of people out there that want to get writing, but like Bracey said, they don't have that formal, work in this, working situation with an editor. So, what should a writer be prepared for when they're going to work with an editor?
Definitely be prepared to not necessarily like what the editor has to say, only because, like Bracey mentioned, killing your darlings, when you get so attached to a story, any sort of suggestion can sound, sort of like an attack. And I will say I'm very mindful of that when I give suggestions. I try to, understand they put a heart and soul into it. But so I think a good piece of advice I've seen is read the editor's comments and then immediately put it away, walk away. And then, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to be like, well, why do you suggest this? There were some things I suggested in stories where the authors came back with an alternate solution. And it was like, that sounds great. So don't be afraid, but also don't feel bad if your immediate reaction is like,
There you go.
Open communication back and forth. That's great.
Beautiful. There you go, folks. Write those notes, all right? Those are important keys for your success. Now, Bracey, before you go, of course, talk about your story in perspectives. Give us a little teaser of what it's about.
If you'll let me add to that just a little bit from the writer side.
Sure.
Of things.
Okay.
Any creator, you've got to have a thick skin. You've got to be prepared for criticism, and you've got to keep an open mind about things. As an artist, I learned that a long time ago. And so again, I appreciated Jen's efforts, and I even thought she was being too nice. She's like, here's my suggestions, but you can write it the way you want. It's your story. And I was like, no, be harder on me. Be harder on me. I just want to understand what you're doing. So there's that. As for my story, I really can't tell you much because it would honestly spoil it. I mean, I can only give you.
Okay. What genre does it fall in? Darn it.
I can only give you this preface. The story is about a man at night stalking a pregnant woman down the street. And I really can't give away any more than that. So I hope.
And that already sounds horrible. You sicko following pregnant women down streets.
I will say this.
Horrifying.
Most of you on here, and I know Al, you know my dark heart and my style of writing. I read Jeff's story, and as it came to the end, I was like, oh no.
Oh man, I can't wait now. You're messing
I
me
will
up.
also say being 8 and 9 months pregnant while editing this was an interesting trip.
All right. Oh my God. Can I ask then, did you wind up hating this guy? Like, who the hell does this guy think he is?
No, not at all. Again, it's fiction, but it was interesting when
You're
we got to
what
the
a
end.
sicko.
One other thing,
Nice.
with that primer in mind, everybody, it's not going to play out how you think it is.
All right, there you go, folks. Pick it up. That's the only way you're gonna find out. Pick up this wonderful
Great
book.
stories in there.
Yeah, man, especially my homies right there. There you go. Look at the gorgeous book. And again, folks, it's available on Amazon. Jeff, thank you so much for chit-chatting with us today. I'm going to go ahead and bring in yet another amazing writer.
Bracey.
Thanks, everybody, and thanks for all your hard work. And, please, if you've got the time, buy the book and give generously to the charity as well.
Yeah. Support
Thank you.
the support of the Dyspraxia Foundation. Absolutely. All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Next up is the one and only Paul D. Nolan. What's the D for? We're gonna find out right now. Mr. Nolan, ¿qué pasa, señor?
Hello.
How you
Hello,
doing?
sir.
How
Not
you
bad,
doing?
Not bad.
Excellent,
I'm okay.
excellent. Yo, let's get it. What's the D stand for in Paul D. Nolan, bro? Or if you tell me I gotta die, what is it?
It's very boring. It's just David.
David, Peter. Oh, Paul David Nelson. There we go. That's all right. PDN kiddo. It also sounds very hip hopish. I'm putting you on my hip hop roster now. Paul, talk about it. What we got, brother? First off, how did you connect with Mr. Hayden to become part of the ASAP family that led into your story within Perspectives?
I've known L.A. Cunningham for quite some time.
Oh, through LA. Hey.
Through another group, and when they came out with Points of Villainy, Points of Virtue, I was really excited. I bought it straight away, and I started talking to both of them because I loved it. Loved every story involved, so yeah, got involved that way, and all of a sudden I started putting stuff towards Paul to include.
Have you had previous experience in writing, Paul?
No. This is my first outing.
Your first outing, wow! And how
Yes.
long before you got the opportunity to finally showcase your work on this level?
Well, I've been writing a novel for about 6 years. Still not finished. So, when I got a chance to do a short story, I thought I'd probably go for it and see what happens. So, yeah, it made it. I'm happy.
Yeah.
No worries. And talk about the story, man. What's your contribution in Perspectives?
I'm a bit like Bracey. I can't really say a lot.
It's all right. Be a tease. That's what we want. We want teases. Because we want people to buy this amazing title that supports an amazing foundation. That again, like Jeff had mentioned, I wasn't aware of what was happening. And then Paul broke it down and educated me. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. And even to know that, one of his children is going through this, it's like, damn, Mo, brother, you are saintly. There's going to be a St. Paul, all right? Not the one that's already current. There's going to have another one. St. Hayden. There we go.
Me.
Oh, so all right. So give us a teaser about your story.
Basically, a character he gets beaten up and left for dead and goes on revenge.
Oh, it's a revenge story then. It's a revenge story.
Yes.
Love it.
I do want to brag on Paul a little bit. He's talking about his novel and everything, but he is a talented writer. He's very good at coming up with superhero situations and powers, which is kind of what he's doing in the book he's writing.
Yeah.
And you can see it in this short story. But I have to say, a lot of these stories, I'm really excited. I'm sitting there looking at them going, I want to grab these people and milk them and turn their stories into comic books as part of anyone in ASAP. So that's what I want to do. So
thank you, Nim.
Yep.
There we go. Hell yeah, Paul. So are we gonna get more from you now? You know, are we gonna see more works from you? What's popping? Can you tease that?
Yeah. I've got a couple of things in the pipeline. I don't really know what I can talk about. I'm in a couple of different sections of the ASAP. I'm in one or two different sections of the ASAP community. So
beautiful.
Yeah, there's some coming next year.
So can I ask you one last question then? Like, how proud do you feel of finally, you know, having this break-in moment, if you will? I mean, how excited were you?
You know what? Everyone where I live is sick of me banging on about this now. You know, I haven't shut up. I have not shut up for 3 weeks now. 3 weeks.
That's a good thing. Listen, in this world, we need all the good news we can get, and we know that one of our homies is doing something so good. This is what I'm telling you. I am so proud of my fellow Crusaders here, you know, doing what they're doing for such an amazing foundation. And that Paul, you know, listen, you know, a lot of people, their kids go through things and they don't take initiative. But Paul said, I'm going to take an initiative. I'm going to help. I'm going to do something. And, yo, see, that's a leader, yo. That's the publisher. That's the EIC, yo. Paul, man, yo, everybody, yo, like a whole cheers to the big homie, Mr. Hayden, right there, yo, for real. Amazing stuff, bro.
I started dealing with Paul before this, and he has such a great energy about him. He's so excited, so happy to do what he's doing, and it's great to work with. So,
well, that's the whole thing. When you love what you do, it really shows, and it shows in this amazing team he's built. I mean, it's like me looking in the mirror, seeing a white version of myself. I have an amazing team, you know, and he's part of it. And then he built one, hopefully learning lessons from how we do things. And basically is, you know, celebrate your team. That's what it's about. This isn't about me. It's about us.
Well, I got to give Paul some more love too, though, because this Any One World is about giving back. It's not only about publishing people's stories, but giving back. You know, I was really honored.
That's right.
That he offered me the ability to be the editorial consultant for the comics, because that means that all of those young kids or new writers out there that want to write comics, I get to help them develop that. I mean, that's an amazing thing, you know, and I've already been honored to be able to do that with Paul, with a couple of young kids out there, and I'm just looking forward to more. And I mean, if anybody's watching this and you want to do a comic book or something, contact Paul, contact us, and get into Any One World. So.
Yeah, and let's talk about that before I take Paul off real quickly. You know, Mr. Hayden, since we have two Pauls now, tell us about anyone.
So I first came up with the Any One World when some people had reached out and said that we'd like to do some stuff with you, and we've got our main continuity, which is, you know, written by me and Laurie and Nem and Sarah, and DT as well. He's going to come on and do some stuff kind of pre-event. And because I'm a big advocate of creator-owned content, so if they came and said we want to join this, well, ASAP own the rights to all of that world.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to take control of your thing; it's yours. So the Any One World is creator owned. We don't take anyone's rights away. Everyone keeps their rights. So if it ever got to a stage where they wanted to go, you know, elsewhere,
but they're not gonna want to. This is ASAP. No, exactly. No, they're not gonna go nowhere. Now when you have Paul at the helm, come on now.
But but it just gave that saying it's yours. I'm not taking this.
Beautiful.
And it's a shared sandbox too, which is cool. So it's like you see some crazy messed up stuff from Jeff Bracey, and you want to cross that with something cool from Paul Nolan. you know, the two of them can work on it, and it's part of that any one world. Yeah.
So maybe Paul's character could stop that sickle that's stalking pregnant women. God damn
Exactly.
it.
There's no stopping him. There's no stopping that man.
Apparently, so please, yo, I gotta read this thing. I'm so curious right now. You guys have my brain like buzzing. Like, okay, what the heck is going on here? I mean, I'm no longer surprised. I've been desensitized.
I will. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these stories are just absolutely incredible, and so many of them are incredibly clever. You know, I'm one of those that watch movies and books, and I've read too much and watched too much, and so a lot of times I could see what's coming from a mile away.
Oh yeah, my wife hates me for those because I'd be like, yeah, we were watching Vivo the other day, Vivo, the new cartoon. Yeah. You know, and you know, I don't want to give us spoilers, but I was like, yo, homie's about to, you know, pass right now. See, like, it's too early in the story. I'm like, how could you not tell what's going on? And then not even 2 minutes later, homie was dead, like I said. And she like, how did you know? In tears.
I will say there are quite a few stories in this anthology where it took me by surprise, which is just incredible. Because I'm old and jaded, as you all know. So
aren't we all? But let me tell you what, any literature that takes us by surprise nowadays, that means it's doing its job. So that's just why perspective needs to be in your library. So right now over here, I'm showing off as well that Paul is part of this list. Paul, is there any other place that we could follow you other than Twitter if we wanted to keep up with your projects?
No. Basically, no, not. No,
I'm too busy to be playing around with any other nonsense.
No. I'm on Facebook, but that's just family and stuff, so I don't really use that.
Gotcha. But, hey guys,
no, Twitter's the main one.
All right, great. But coming from Almega, listen, for real, use your socials just to connect. Let people meet you and understand how awesome you are, because it only helps in your book sales. Trust me. All right. Let them know how cool you are, man. Much love, my brother. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
You know, thank you for your contributions, you know, in the book that are going to support that amazing foundation that is the Dyspraxia Foundation. Thank you again. And now we're going to bring up yet another Crusader. Thank you, brother. Bye. All right, so check it out. We're going to bring up yet another Jesus, how many Crusaders are involved in my joint and the joint over here? Actually, no, this is an ASAP turned Crusader because he was an ASAP first. The one and only gaming Crusader, Caleb L. Taylor. What's up, kiddo?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
All right, brother. So again, origin story first. So let me not assume this time. Who did you meet first, and how did you get involved with ASAP?
Laura. I posted a message on Twitter just asking people if they were interested in a grim, dark novel that fixated around an anti-hero that constantly leaves you wondering, you know, what is he even trying to do? And LA was like, me. And I was like, well, whenever I get it published, you know, I'll be hitting you up, but it just doesn't seem like it's a big market right now. And she was like, well, I actually happen to know somebody that would probably be able to help you out with that. And then she hooked me up with PA, and then I just started talking to PA, and we just started hitting it off, and he liked everything I was throwing at him, and he just told me to slow down, and he can only do so much. And then he brought up the anthology. He was talking about his son, and I was like, yeah, I'd be more than willing to help out and jump in on that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So talk about your story and your contribution if you can. Can you tease us? Let me just keep saying this now, because apparently nobody wants to tell you too much. Let's tease then. What's the name of your story, and can you give us a brief synopsis of what we may be able to expect here?
It's called The Wrath of Devourment, and it's basically, well, the moral of it is that no matter what state you're brought to or how utterly demolished you are, ripped, defeated, degraded, you try to hold on to any thread that you can. And even if there's nothing there, you just float, you ride it out, and you just keep on until you get to the other side. And it's all not for nothing. And everything you do or encounter or witness, you learn, you gain something. So some sort of something will come from whatever you're going through. And if you can, you use that to better yourself and to make it worth the trip, worth the pain, worth everything you've seen and suffered through, you'll always gain, and like try to fixate on the gaining side of anything you're doing.
Nice.
And then find that purpose in that pain. And just don't give up.
Truth.
And then eventually you'll get to that other side. You'll have this story particularly has like an odd resemblance to like my view of jealousy, and I don't think of it so much as a bad trait if you use it correctly. If you steer it towards teaching yourself, and if you're jealous of that person's courage to put themselves out there, use that emotion, that energy towards gaining that trait. Put that effort towards seeing what they did with themselves to be there, and apply that towards yourself. Most of the emotions that are seen as negative is because they're used negative. You can use it in a good way, and a helpful
Truth, bro. Fucking truth, bro. That is so true. So would you consider your story more of a slice of life type of joint?
Oh no.
Oh, you're like, oh no. So you're put on emo strings, bro.
Well, that's like the general like consensus of it, but like obviously there's the fantasy element that it's more extravagant versions of these things, at least how I saw it.
Gotcha, man. Oh wow.
It's mostly just about being lonely and getting at the end and just trying to move forward. It's just, it doesn't matter what you were, what you are currently, you still want something. And you get this sense of happiness when you find someone else that relates, and especially if you've been alone for a long time, feeling like you're alienated.
And then the COVID era, very easy to feel that way.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you, which is the truth. So, all right. So, do you have anything more planned with the ASAP family? Even before you answer that, actually, hey, look at that. He's pointing. Oh, look at he got that shit framed already. Look at that. He's proud. I love it. But do you have anything else planned with the ASAP family? And again, but wait, before you answer that, that's what I wanted to ask was, is this your first endeavor ever into writing, or have you had your stuff published prior?
Oh no, that's the first thing.
Oh, really? This is your first time. So congrats on breaking that. Good stuff. Congratulations, bro. So how do you feel about that? Finally having an opportunity to share, one of your stories with the world.
Great. Just awesome. I find it hard to express myself. So
I see that. You're like, it's awesome. I don't know how to feel. It's okay not knowing how to feel, because let me tell you, when people tell me, oh, I love Comic Crew, thanks for what you guys do, sometimes I'm like stuck in it. Like, I don't know how to react to this. I just do this because I love it. I don't do it because I want accolades. You feel me? Like, let me tell you, like I said, this piece of art right here was gifted to me at MegaCon. This is my first piece of original art that I've ever owned in my whole life. And the guy just handed it to me saying, thank you for what we do. And I almost cried there, because it's like, no one ever handed me no original art and then follow that up talking about thank you for what you do. You know what I mean? So it's like, holy shit, I got stuck. Yeah, yo, what's up, Mayhem Madness? We're killing it. You got to check out my extended family, the ASAP Comics UK. This is the 1 year anniversary, Mayhem. Let me tell you that these brothers, and I know you got stories. Please reach out to Paul, because I know you got stories to share. I know you and Klep got doing things in your mind. And ASAP Comics, I think, is probably the best home for your stories. I know a lot of people that have ideas, Paul. I'm going to send everybody your way.
Go, man.
But Kayla, man, thank you for your contribution into the book, and supporting an amazing foundation. Thank you for being an awesome crusader too, because we already kicked ass talking to posters, which was a amazing experience, talking to a new metal, post-hardcore, whatever you want to call them, swancore. That was great, man. I have fun with that. So we're gonna bring in another creator right now, Kayla, but I want to thank you for your time. And just to show it off yet again, let me see where you're at, because we have so many people. So Caleb, please follow my homie right here, Caleb Taylor 1 on Twitter. And where else can we follow you?
Yeah, like Paul said, I don't really have much else going on. But I did want to throw in though, I have a bunch of things coming down the line, and I'm finishing up a couple of things just to make sure everything's coordinated. and then I'm just going to start throwing it at PA and just let him determine. Well, I think David too, because he I've asked him a couple of questions like, hey, you want it to be this way or that way? So like these two guys are going to be lining me up. So
Excellent.
yeah, it's a bunch. I got a whole bunch of short stories.
And not just for ASAP, but also for Comic Crusaders, because you are a gaming guy, so you got and you like to do some comic stuff sometimes. So it's like, thank you for that too, man. People that keep busy. But look at it. This is two brands that function like one symbiotic family. I fucking love it. This is what this is. This is real. This is family. This is support. This is how we do it. Caleb, thank you so much. I'm about to bring up another awesome creator. I want to thank you, Caleb. Much love, bro. Hasta la próxima.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thanks, man.
All right, folks, get tuned in now, because now we have someone that is gonna blow your mind on their ability. Let me introduce a fellow Latino that's in the crew, the one and only Luis M.Cruz. Papo, what's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, kiddo. Where you from, man? Where you hailing at?
I'm from the Bronx, New York.
In the Bronx? Are you barbecuing right now? I'm hearing that music.
Yeah, I got caught in a little barbecue. I had to step away from it for a little while.
Huepa. Ahí estamos. You're chilling with Omega, el body supremo de Isabela, para que tú sepas. Now,
good,
I'm doing good, but you know what? I'm so happy to see that a fellow New Yorker is also involved. I'm a Brooklyn boy. You know, you're from the Bronx. That's okay. You know, we still fam. Man, talk about your contributions in the book, my brother. First of all, before you do that, introduce yourself. Who are you? You know, like I know you're from the Bronx, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is M.Cruz. I'm a writer of comics, and I've had two novels published. One being a short illustrated, you could say, graphic novel, and I'm also physically disabled. I write and draw and type with my mouth.
Wait, what? Wait. You draw and type with your mouth?
Yeah. And I write.
Wow. So let me ask, because I had a cousin with a disability like that as well, but unfortunately he had it in a really bad way, and I lost him not too long, a few years ago. May he rest in peace, Javi. Yeah, Chabelito. Much love, Papo. But how did you overcome all that, brother? I mean, where does that passion lie, and how did you learn to overcome that disability to do what you do? What you're doing is inspiring, kiddo. You're blowing my mind right now.
Thank you. I do it. Well, I'm in a wheelchair, but I can walk. And the reason that I can walk is I was in a car accident with my grandparents, and when they opened the back of the station wagon, I came out walking. I must have been about 8 years old when that happened.
Oh, wow.
And I've learned to look at life in a very different perspective.
Good man.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Excellent.
No pun intended.
Yeah. So how did you get involved in the writing journey, and how did you get your books published? You know, in the early on.
I wanted to be a police officer, and my doctor told me that's out of the question. And he told me your writing is pretty good, and your drawing is pretty good. You should stick to that. I was about 13 at the time. And then when I hit 18, a friend of mine took me to DC Comics, where Dennis O'Neil, may he rest in peace, actually gave me a little interview before he moved out to Cali. They used to be right here in New York, in Manhattan. And he also told me the truth. He told me your artwork takes too long. Stick to the writing. Your writing is good. And that's how I stuck with it.
Oh, wow. So the great Dennis O'Neil told you, get your writing done. It's good. He told you you're good. Wow, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you feel about that validation from an old schooler in the industry?
To be honest, I just felt like he was a regular dude telling me, like I didn't know too much about Dennis O'Neil at the time. I just went to DC Comics because a friend of mine.
So how do you feel now, though? How do you feel now knowing who he was?
Oh, I'm honored. I'm honored. I'm grateful. I'm completely grateful.
Excellent.
Exactly.
So talk about your contribution and perspectives. How did you even hook up with ASAP?
I believe I think I reached out to him.
And, he was on Twitter first.
The Twitter. Don't you love Twitter, man? The great connector, apparently.
Yes. And we were talking and shot this anthology, which I took a little bit longer than I should have. So thank you, Paul, for waiting.
No problem, my friend.
And that's how we connected.
That's awesome. So talk about your story then. Like, what's the contribution into the perspective? Tease us. I understand that all of you guys want to be teasers instead. So it's okay to tease us about what you got.
Yeah, my story, my contribution to it is called Transitioning of Power. And it's basically the Jesus Christ and Lucifer are basically having a meeting in Central Park 20 minutes after the world ends. And it's an interesting conversation. They go back and forth at it like kind of like Superman and Batman go back and forth at it, that friendly banter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they are brothers after all.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. So how did you come up with this and why that type of story?
The believe it or not, the outline to the story was already written. All I had to do was put it into story. I was gonna use it on one of my short stories thing, but I felt let me do it to this one. And actually, Paul actually turned out my first short story I sent him.
He did.
It was too young, adultish. Remember that, Paul?
Yeah. So it's because it was like young adult, and obviously we were selling this as an adult book. So it was like, let's keep this over here for a young adult book, and let's bring a different story in that fits the narrative, fits the whole context of this.
So are you telling me that other story may fit in the ASAP Minis universe? Hey.
I don't know. That's up to Paul. That's up to Paul.
Listen, I'm throwing the ideas out there, Luis. Come on, bro. I'm pimping you right now. That's ASAP Minis. Right
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind, but I think I'm gonna shoot Paul a novel.
Oh, there we go. Yo, shoot it, brother. Shoot it, man. Again, listen, to see you, this is what I'm telling people. It's like, yo, look at homie right here. He lets nothing stop him. I mean, how yo, dude, I'm just curious. This is the question. So you type, write, and draw with your mouth. How did you teach yourself that, and over like what period of time?
In high school, I had a teacher who wasn't comfortable with his first handicapped person in his class. When you go to high school, they automatically put you in, for me, in special ed.
Yeah, special ed. That's New York. Right. Yeah, that's New York.
Yeah, but I was too enhanced for that. So my mother had to sign papers. I had to go see a psych and prove that I don't belong in.
Wow.
And there's this one teacher, from what my friend told me, he wrote on all 4 boards instead of the 2 that he normally would. And he thought I was gonna keep up, so I put a pen in my mouth and I just continued to write from there.
Oh, nice, kiddo. What a story of inspiration.
Amazing.
Mr. Cruz, I gotta have you come back on a Comic Crusaders podcast and dedicate like an hour, as a fellow Latino, and share your story, bro. Because I really got more questions. Just because I've had family in that situation. And just not that, because not for nothing, but on my Comic Crusaders team, I've had several disabled folks. And those disabled folks work 10 times harder than a folk that is able to do things. So it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I appreciate you guys more for that shit, because it's like, yo, you are an example. Thank you for being that.
I have a theory though. If you put 10 physically normal people, line them up, and they ask you how you write, you will either say you write with your right or your left arm, right?
Yep.
But you put 10 handicaps up there, and you ask them how they write, for example, and they tell you some gonna write with their mouth, some gonna write with their feet, some gonna write with their helmet on. So who's really the handicapped ones? Us?
Oh.
Very well said.
Yes. Luis, yo, you've been amazing, brother. You're an inspiration. I can't wait to read your story and perspective, and thank you for that contribution to support an amazing foundation.
Thank you.
That Paul. Yo.
Thank you,
May I say one thing?
Absolutely.
Jessica, Miss Mondy, Jessica, thank you very much for being so patient with me.
Oh, not at all. It was a joy
Thank you
to
so
work
much.
with you.
It was fun working with you.
Everybody's showing love to Jess, yo. They're like, all right, let me not mess with the editor. I love you. You're awesome.
If you're ever in New York, I'll lend you my wheelchair. You could ride around.
Ooh, sounds like fun.
And not even just that, he's gonna show you some good Puerto Rican food or Spanish food in New York, I'm sure.
Yes.
Sounds
Right?
amazing. I'll have
You know,
to
I
hold you to that.
I actually have a video of Tom McFarlane riding around my wheelchair
Oh,
at a
where?
Comic-Con.
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy. I spoke to Todd not too long ago, so check it out, man. That was great. So, Luis, bro, go back to enjoy that barbecue. Stay awesome, and I'm gonna contact you to talk to you on a personal basis because you're an inspiration. God bless, bro.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you,
guys.
Mark.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Wow, Paul. I mean, dude, man,
great.
he's awesome. But not just that. Everybody we've already displayed. I mean, awesome people you've created. I mean, you've connected with.
That they all really, really show, which I think is really key to actually dyspraxia, is dyspraxia is a hidden disability, and whether you have a diagnosis or not, like Lou was saying, you have to try 10 times harder, and it's about that tenacity.
Yes.
And trying again and again, and how many times can you be knocked back, but having that positive mindset. And it links into what Jess was saying to maybe if you have a character wiped out or taken away, it's not a reflection of what you're producing. It's actually a constructive criticism or whatever it might be. And I think certainly dyspraxia is a lifelong condition, and whether you're a child or you're an adult, you've got to take a lot of that throughout your life because it's not easy, it's difficult. And I think but all of you have shown that tenacity and that those really positive traits. And I think that's what I'm trying to say is you always need to look at those positive traits. Yes, as a dyspraxic you might not be able to ride a bike. I mean, that's just a classic example, but a secondary knock-on effect of having dyspraxia for a lot of people is suffering with depression. So that there are lots of obstacles, but I know so many dyspraxic people who have such a positive outlook on life and will just keep going and going and going. And that can't be easy, can it?
No, it can't. But this is why we have good people like Paul that could help pitch in to help the community that is afflicted by this horrible thing, and hopefully we could make it a little bit easier for them to deal with stuff.
It's just about showing the inspiration, isn't it? I think
it is.
For dyspraxia, it's not a very well known or understood condition. There's still lots of research to be done, but I think it's about just raising that awareness, understanding what it is, but actually demonstrating that anything is possible. It is.
Yes, it is.
With the right support, and that's that essentially is that's my take on the conversation we've been having. It's really inspirational.
It is. And let's talk about other folks that are contributing to the cause. Let's bring up next the one and only. He's been chilling in the background. He's ready to go. Christian Prosperie. I hope I said that right.
Hey, yeah. How's this mic? Is this okay? I haven't used this thing yet.
Yeah, you sound loud and clear, brother.
All right.
No worries, bro.
Love
You're screaming loud nothings into my ear right now.
Oh, perfect.
I love
it. Before we start, I just want to say, obviously, thank you to all the hands on this. Jess, Kelsey, but Sophie and PA for getting together, and I can't think of a better way to get my story out there than helping people, right? And all that stuff going to the cause. So thank you, Sophie. I love it.
Wow, thank you goes to Paul. Not me.
So let's get it done, Christian. So origin story. How did you get connected, with the mighty ASAP?
So, well, it's hard to say. Me and LA had been following each other on Twitter for a long time, just like
Twitter again.
Yeah, for real. Sending stupid gifts back and forth from each other for 4 years now. So you know what I mean? And then I saw her develop her relationship with PA through tweets, right? And she's like, "Oh, I'm starting this comic book company with this guy," and I didn't know him at the time. And so, long story short, they posted, "Hey, we're gonna do this anthology. You got some sci-fi, fantasy, or horror, or whatever?" And I was like, screw it, I'll try it. And that's what happened. And that's all it was. They accepted it. And then after that, PA contacted me. It was like, "Hey man, You seem all right.
So is this your first time being published?
Yeah, it is, and I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know, and it's such a big thing, and I can't necessarily speak for everybody and like how they personally feel, but I know seeing the Twitter posts, there's a lot of us out there that this is the first time, and so like we like I've seen people holding the book, right? Mine's gonna come next week, and it's just like to be able to give people that. I don't know. I just like I can see everybody's just so happy, and I'm one of those people that's just like taken back a little bit by it, but
awesome.
Yeah.
So talk about what's the title of your story, and can you give us a little tease of what it's about?
Yeah, for sure. So title of mine is Murmuring John and the Recording of Alexander A. Williams. It's a mouthful, but it's gonna be a theme for what I'm planning. Anyway, so I am big into horror, right? I play video games at 2 a.m. with the lights off.
Have you played Friday the 13th, the video game?
No, I haven't played that. I've heard about that one though, and I haven't played that.
God damn it, that motherfucker kills me each and every time. I have not survived the night with Jason yet. Jesus Christ.
Hey man, he doesn't even have to run. He just shows up behind you, you know?
Bro, yeah, it's like, you know what? I don't know if it's because I'm brown skinned, but it's like I'm one of the first to die all the time.
Isn't that the rule? Isn't that the 80s slasher rules, right?
That's the 80s rule. It is. Yo. It is, bro.
So yeah, I love horror, and and I'm not trying to be like a badass, but I don't get scared a lot. So when I do get scared, you know, I'm into it. And so I like my horror to slow burn. And that's kind of what this story is. And I like the existential dread and the horror. And essentially this story is about a guy on a spaceship that becomes untethered from after doing some maintenance walks, and he is left to float, and he's left with his brain and his mind. And he recounts a similar instance from Alexander A. Williams, or from Murmuring John, and he compares and contrasts both. And essentially, to give a little tease, I guess, my goal for this, like I said, was to slow burn horror, you know, and I want people by the end of it to go, oh, and then still have questions like, well, what the was that?
Wait, you know? before you even go on, you keep saying a slow burn horror. What's your favorite slow burn horror of all time?
Ooh, that's good. I love the Annihilation series. I guess it's called the Southern Reach trilogy. The movie was great, but it was a lot different. Obviously, I'm big into Lovecraft. Don't like the dude personally, but his stories were great, and he just built.
I get you on Lovecraft. Yeah, I mean, it was a racist scumbag, but those damn stories. I mean, dude, this morning I woke up to Beyond Reanimator, the 2003, the third part of the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow. I mean, is that what Lovecraft wanted, though? Because part one is one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Yep.
It's so silly. I love it, though.
Yep. And then, and if you're looking for a movie that not a lot of you guys have seen, maybe it's called The Endless. And I love that. It's just like a whole slow burn. You know, like I said, just kind of gives out that weird cosmic horror that just kind of it's
horror.
Yeah, I love it. I love that kind of stuff. It makes you think, right? That's really what's scary. Is my brain.
We're starting to find out that aliens are possible. So I mean, cosmic horror is right up the alley. Because listen, if you want the world to unite, right now we're fighting over how we even look in our skin colors. But once alien comes, all of a sudden it's humans versus them. Well, you all humans, right? All right.
That's funny. I wrote a short story called Us Versus Them, and it's essentially exactly that concept. It's old as shit, but like
I gotta read it. I need this in my life. Please send it to me. I tell my wife this all the time, and she thinks I'm crazy, but I'm like, listen, if the aliens ever come, believe you me, this all hate between humans is gonna end like in a snap.
Yep, and that's basically the premise, right? It's these aliens that go and they start wars on purpose for failing species, and it's to unite them essentially.
So I'm going to ask you about Jess because Paul Nolan is like, just to add, I want to thank Jess for all of her efforts to improve my story. You have been a joy to work with, Jess. Look at you getting love, girl.
Thank you, Paul. Right back at you.
So, Kristen, you said this is your first time getting published, right?
Yeah.
So how did this is also your first time working with an editor, and if so, how did that feel?
I have had it was great, and Jess was amazing. Obviously, even with my little like, do I have to change this? Can I please leave this in here?
please, it's important to the story.
You're allowed to push back. It's okay.
And she
still ended up with an amazing story, regardless.
Thank you, and obviously, thank you for that. First time with an editor, someone Paul being like, hey, here's your editor, take it over. I've hired editors for my book, my novel that I've been trying to get published for 6 years. But so I've kind of worked with editors, but they've all been different in their own ways. And so this is the first time someone was like, hey, here's this person that we have on our team. She's going to take a look at your story. And it was awesome. It was such a cool experience for sure. Excellent.
Listen, anytime someone is willing to take the time to constructively tell you what's popping, I mean, that's real. Because I hear horror stories of how people are like, well, before I do that, I need this, that, the other. You don't need to do that. You know, be in service to people. Why not? Because you just never know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so cool to see that, and especially when you live in your own head, right? Most of the time. Oh, that's what we do as writers. That's how we exist.
Not just writers, but I think that goes with us content creators and artists. We all stuck. Listen, I wake up with ideas in the morning that my wife sees me rush to my computer. Like, you just woke up. I'm like, I gotta get something done. I just thought about. I mean, I reworked over the past few days. I reworked my whole apparel store. I reworked the site. I'm fixing the branding. And going harder on that. My Comic Crusaders podcast. I'm working hard on that because I actually achieved #1 in Colombia for a day. So it's like, okay, so yeah, thank you. So it's like, you know what? Just keep working hard. Stuff like that only further motivates me to work. It doesn't stop me. It's like, I'm not gonna sit back and chill. Nah, like when that happens, it's time to work harder, kiddo.
Absolutely. This whole thing has been a motivation for me too. I'm like, okay, shit's happening. Like, okay, I'm like, let's go.
One of my last questions for you then, Christian, is like, how long was that journey for you to finally get accepted? How long were you trying to grind and finally get that yes?
Man, I've been writing seriously probably for like almost a decade now. I'd written a little bit when I was a kid, other things, like I played sports, I had other hobbies, and then once all that was done in my adulthood, I was like, well, what do I do now? I'm going to go back to writing. I can't get the stories. So it's been about 10 years, of almost
of the struggle.
The struggle, mostly focusing on my novel, but I've written a lot of short stories over the times. I've written a ton of different things and entered in competitions here and there, but nothing until this. And like I said, about 10 years almost.
That's all right. But listen, now you're here, Big Paul, P.A. Hayden. Everybody made it happen through ASAP. And I'm glad that, he's a dream maker over here. That's what he is.
He absolutely is.
We're going to dress him up in a wizard outfit and the dream maker. Now, let me say, Christian, thank you for your time today. All right, let me start it off real quick. Where you at again? You're right here. So it's Hooray Christian right here, right? That's you.
Yep.
And where else can we follow you just in case? That's your Twitter.
Same everywhere. Same handle on Instagram. That's not too crazy. I post a lot of dumb stuff on Twitter, writing stuff on Instagram. I'm shouting at the wildlife in Montana and videos and drinking brews, if that's something you want to check out.
So a salute to you, man. I'm drinking a brew right now as I talk to the amazing family here. Cheers. All right, Christian. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your contribution. And thank you for, again, supporting the Dyspraxia Foundation with the big homie, Paul. It's amazing. All right. Thank you.
Guys.
Have a great day, bro.
Man.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Paul, your family don't stop. Jesus
They're great on that. That's so great.
And then you have another big creator just hanging out in the background. He's been waiting patiently. Let me introduce the one and only Micah Richards. Hey, what's going on, kiddo? He's all there serious with the mugshot. Do you hear me, sir? I hope he hears me.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, yeah, man, you were on mute. There you go. Don't you love technology? How you doing?
Not bad. I'm doing all right.
Cool.
So talk about it. Look at you. Is that a man cave you have, or you're in your living room?
Yeah, this is the one room in the house I'm allowed to have my stuff. Otherwise, it's thrown out.
I live in the garage. This is the garage. It looks pretty, but it's actually a garage. My one corner in the garage that looks nice.
Yeah, if I ever let my wife in here, she'd throw everything away. So,
listen, I grew up with a Puerto Rican mom that threw away my whole 86 top set. You know what rookies were there? Okay, so don't even ask. All right. Let's not talk about it. You're gonna get me in my emotions now. So let's talk about it, Micah. Am I saying that correct? First of all,
correct.
Okay, excellent. So talk about how you got hooked up with ASAP Comics, and then how you in your journey in writing and how long it took you to even get a story published. Are you a published writer?
I am now.
Now, so let's talk about it. How did you hook up with ASAP?
So a lot of guys on here, I got connected to ASAP Comics through Lori. I'm one of her converts. I met her
LA be pimping the yo. She got stuff on lock, yo. Cause everybody, LA.
I always think she'd be good at as an agent or something because she's really great at connecting with people.
Well, hey, listen, Lori, if you want to do that, talk to me because I have a big idea in regards to that. I think that we could help a lot of people. So if you're about that, then we got to connect. Now, go ahead, Micah. Sorry. Yeah, you just threw that out there. Listen, when we speak things like that into the world, that means things are going to happen. So you think she could be an agent, and I think I could be an agent. Let's work together and be agents.
Yeah, if anyone's going to do it, she would be killer at that. So, I knew her on Twitter, and then I kind of saw her incredible journey going from, just kind of writing their own stuff to my best friend on Twitter, Paul, has got me started on this thing, and then it progressed into this whole journey, and I was like, wow, like she's really showing me up. And then I saw Points of Villainy, Points of Virtue come out, got my copy, and was super impressed. My writing journey, I did the whole Twitter thing. I wrote 3/4 of a novel. I was getting ready to query it. I was building my Twitter following, and I just got a real bad taste in my mouth about the whole thing. And ever since then, I've kind of been like, they say like when you have a hobby and you do it, you love it, but then if you get paid to do it, you end up hating that hobby.
Yeah.
And so the pursuit of money and the pursuit of getting published kind of made me start hating writing. And so I kind of taken a long break from it.
How long of a break? How long of a break we're talking?
How long have I known you, Lori? LA? A couple years
I think
now.
like 4 years or so. I think I've been on Twitter about 4, and you were one of the first people I ran across. So
yeah. So I've just been kind of hanging out in the wings and cheering other people on. And then she approached me about this anthology, and she said, "I know you don't like you're not in it for the money. How would you like to do something where there's no chance you'll make a profit?" And I was like, "Awesome, I'm in." So,
you don't want to make a goddamn dime. I got something for you. I love
it. I like to do it just for the joy of writing. And I mean, if someone offered me $1 million for a manuscript tomorrow, yeah, I'd take it. I'd sell out. But at least for the moment, I'm fine just doing it for fun. But I saw this opportunity, and I didn't know anything about dyspraxia, and I looked it up, and I was like, this is an incredible cause, and I'm going to dust off the whole keyboard. And I submitted a story, not thinking it'd go anywhere, and it got accepted, and here I'm at.
Wow, nice. Can you give us the tease of what your story? What's the title of that story, and can you give us a tease about it?
The title is Apex Predator, and so if you know me, you know that if anything I write, it's either going to have a spaceship or a big robot. And so nice. I didn't want to just write something just cliche.
Wait.
So I was kind of go ahead.
So, Mike, can I ask you then? All right. So one of my grandma put me on as a kiddo to Mazinger Z. That's my first big robot, and then that is why I love Voltron. What was your first big robot?
Voltron. What was my first robot?
Yeah, your first big robot. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. I enjoyed the Gundam series. It's like an anime.
Bro, I would get up at 6 a.m. in New York as a kid to watch that. 6 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's how. Yeah, same here. I get up at I think it was on at 5:30 here, and probably should have been sleeping in, and so for school and stuff. But I had to get up.
Yeah,
and watch cartoons.
We were one of those assholes, right? Let's get our cartoons and cereal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Kindred spirits here.
I love it, bro.
So it's called Apex Predator. So I was thinking about the idea of traveling through space, and so without giving away too much, this story is basically the equivalent of walking down a dark alley, but instead of a person in a dark alley, it's a spaceship in a dark part of space, and kind of seeing you know, the idea that someone starts following you and whatnot, and but you know, in space that wouldn't happen. So it's like a spaceship, and then all of a sudden another spaceship shows up, and some stuff happens. Hope I didn't give away too much.
You didn't give away too much at all, which is great. But there's a couple of things here.
Jack the Ripper in space.
Oh, wow, that sounds nuts. I just want to say something first before I go on that. Our special guest, Sophie, has to leave, all right, in front of the Dyspraxia Foundation. But please, folks, take time to, you know, understand what this is and show the love, support the book, Dyspraxia Foundation.org.uk. You can follow them at Dyspraxia FDNTN, you know, Dyspraxia Youth on Facebook Foundation. I mean, learn about them, you know, support it. This is a real great cause. You know, one of Paul's kids are afflicted by this condition. You know, this is why he's so passionate about it, and the fact that he uses his brand, you know, to leverage that and support such a wonderful cause. Thank you. A big shout out to Kelsey, because I know she has to go with. Look at Kitty in the background. I have a cat too. Look at
celebrity guest.
And they're just licking themselves there. Thank goodness they're not giving themselves some self-satisfaction on air. You know, this would have turned into some animal porn like out of nowhere. But Kelsey, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Kelsey.
And I also want to have you on just on a separate interview, just to talk about your artistic process and where people can hire you for work, because I see what you do. And I think I need you to create the next Comic Crusaders character, all right?
No, absolutely. I have experience in character design stuff, so I'd love to help.
We got it done. So thank you so much. And everybody, this is what you do, folks. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Hold on. I'm gonna show this off. Folks, this is where I need you to go. Show some love to Kelsey on Twitter. Like right now, give her a follow, send her a message, all right? Thank you so much, Kelsey. Appreciate you being on, and thank you for creating such a beautiful cover for my boy's book. I mean, amazing, yo. God bless, yo. You're very talented. Awesome. All right, Micah, back to you, kiddo. You know, I mean, because these ladies had to leave, and you just got to make some time for them and shout them out, because, you know, they're all part of this amazing family. You know, so let's talk about you again. So if people wanted to keep up to date on you and what you do, like, where can we follow you, brother?
I'm on Twitter. Not much going on there, so not much. You won't see much if you follow me. But maybe sometime in the future, we'll see. We'll see how long this break lasts.
What is it with you creative types being so shy about using your social media power? Come on, use it, man. It's key. People want to know who you are, especially when they buy your product. Don't be shy. If you need help, I'm here for you. I'm here to coach you. And Paul and Shadewing, so y'all know the masterminds are going to be back in action for us starting this Monday. Because we need that, especially with everything we got going on. As CEOs, we need to kind of spill our brains out.
Well, most of the masterminds are in this book, so, you know.
Hey, I love it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I love it. So, Micah, so you said Twitter's the best?
Yeah.
All right.
You can find me on there.
There we go. But thank you for working with Paul. Thank you for your contribution.
Thanks,
thank you
for
supporting the foundation. I thought I'd plus my brother. All right, folks. Now, he's already here. I brought him into the room. He's yet another fellow Crusader that I'm proud to have on board. The amazing, the one and only Shadewing. Real name, Steve Sellers. But if I call him Steve, he knows he's in trouble. What's up,
That's
kid?
my name, don't worry out.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great. I'm really, really glad to be here, and I'm really glad to finally talk to all these people that I've known, tangentially and maybe by email in the case of Jess. But I'm kind of glad to finally have this opportunity. So glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad. I know you're already doing big things in other comic book stuff. So let people know, first of all, Steve, tell them about your other books, and then we'll get into what you did for ASAP.
Awesome. Be more than happy to. Yeah, I write for Omen Comics, and we also have Revelation Comics, which is the creator-owned imprint of that. I write several books, including White Druid and Michael Nero, which is an occult detective story about a magical Sherlock Holmes and his partner, who is a millennia-old Celtic god. And they're investigating, let's say, a mystery connected to the possible end of the world. So that's the starting point for that. We're going to have soon coming out Guardians of Elam, which is a time travel story featuring a bunch of people from Roman Jerusalem. And basically they make a very big mistake and they have to fix it. So that's the stuff that I do for Omen Comics. The world basically is all mythologies are true. So it's all in that kind of weird setting.
All mythologies are true. Oh, I love it. So you're trying to tell me that even Aesop's fables may be true?
Well, yeah. I mean, in some reality, everything's true, really.
Hey, what a tease, what a tease. So, Steve, talk about the hookup with Aesop, and then we get into what you contributed to it.
Well, I would have to thank you and other Crusaders for that, because that's how I met Paul. We also talked a lot through Masterminds, which you brought up earlier.
Yeah.
So we kind of got to know each other a little bit off and on. I've known Nem almost since I joined the Comics Crusaders. So, we co-host on Sloppy Spoilers. That's how I know Jeff Bracey. We're pretty much the Sloppy Spoilers crew are pretty big involved in that.
Beautiful.
But as far as perspectives itself, I saw what Paul had posted. I didn't know anything about Dyspraxia coming out, but I consider Paul a friend. I'm more than happy to contribute things for him. And in addition, I couldn't miss the party, with so many cool people that are involved in this. So I decided to submit a post-apocalyptic dark fantasy story for it.
Post-apocalyptic dark fantasy. Okay, now you're fishing me, because anything I love Mad Max type shit. My parents are like, why do you like this end of the world stuff so much? Like, I love it. I just don't know why. I love it. I see myself all in love driving a hot, fast car. And right now I drive a Buick, folks. I mean, I ain't going fast. So, the book is coming out soon. I mean, it's already out. And that contribution, like, how long did you work with Jen on the editorial? How long did it take you to create the particular story you got?
I would say around a month, more or less, to write it, at least a few weeks. And then the back and forth was with Jess was a little longer than that. I forget exactly how long. It was a few weeks.
So, what you used to Jess's editorial process as you are, because you come from already a creative perspective. So,
sure.
Were there any editorial differences between ASAP and what you do with Omen?
Well, that's just because the editors I deal with are very different people, and they have different approaches and different priorities, and that's absolutely fine. I was a little taken aback working a little bit with Jess, because she's a little looser than I'm used to working with.
Nice.
But I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, she was very supportive with any contributions that I had for it. She knew exactly what needed, I think, to be addressed when I gave it to her. She really slashed and burned the ending, which I kind of felt needed the most work, and I'm really grateful to her for that. And she had a lot of really different ideas about, that really made me think about, okay, what's going on with my setting? What's going on with my world building?
Nice.
Who is this character? All these sorts of things. And I think it helped make the story a lot better than it was in the original draft. So I owe her a lot for that.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Awesome. And how is it to work with ASAP as a fellow Comic Crusader? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm proud of you. All you guys, again, working with Paul, and I'm seeing your names on a printed book. I mean, I feel like a Papa Bear. Like, I am so damn full with pride, honestly, to see all of you, do what you guys have done. Mm-hmm. You guys have no idea.
It's a humbling experience. I mean, you get to work with some of the most awesome people. I mean, you talk about Comic Crusaders as family. I feel like ASAP is as well.
It is.
And that's really how it feels like to work with them all. I mean, it's a family that gets along. There's none of the drama behind the scenes that you hear about in other places. I've never had to deal with any of that. Everybody's been on the top of their game. Just delivering it, and I'm glad to contribute to that.
See, I think that's what's key.
Paul sends me cases of beer and keeps me in line. So
I'm still trying to figure out who the hell helped me send me coffee and a Batman mug. Like, I was joking with Paul keeps joking me. He goes, "You have a secret admirer." Somebody sent me a package out of nowhere, coffee and a Batman mug, no name. My wife is like, "You ordered this shit, didn't you?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. I swear." Like, why would I order coffee beans when I don't even have a crusher?
It was me, man. I got you.
Bro, you were about to get me in trouble. See, that was the cheat. I was telling wifey, why do you want me to tell her to get you? You know, never say that. Never say that. Okay, bro, that was a bad mistake, a bad joke.
I do have to say about Steve's story. It was really incredible, and it's a kind of fantasy that you don't see much anymore. It's that post-apocalyptic setting, but it really reminded me of if you're familiar with Ari Salvatore's work. I mean, it was some really cool high fantasy type stuff with that gritty battle description. So
yeah, that was definitely an influence on some of my stuff. It wasn't conscious, but it was in there. I would say I'm probably lean more obviously towards Michael Moorcock and Elric. That I would say that's a little bit more obvious.
Great. Yeah, Elric is great. Titan keeps reproducing all those books. Great stuff, man. Great stuff.
You know, but once again, it highlights what I think is just so cool about this anthology, because it's like this anthology has it all. No matter what kind of genre you like, you will find it in this book.
I mean, they ain't lying, guys. Again, look at how beautiful the design is of the book. All right,
it's gorgeous.
You could get it now on Amazon, so you could read that on your tablet, your computer, your phone. You know, don't procrastinate. Get it done, folks. Get it done. It's just the realness. So, hey, look at that. Oh, wait a minute. Let me put him
I put my money where my mouth is.
Look at that. Look at that. Look how gorgeous that book is, yo. I mean, and he has it in hand, yo. Sexy, sexy, sexy.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, I love it. So, all right. So, Steve, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For your contributions, chatting about it and what you do. Thank you for helping Paul and making this thing happen for real. Because we have more folks. You can hang out. It's not a problem. Because right now, I want to ask, because David brought it up. And I know that Nemesis himself and also LA have contributions to the book. So, ladies first. LA, talk about your story and what we got going. What's the title? What's it about? What we got going here?
My story is called Just a Second. And it was basically, I've been looking for an excuse to write a creepy clockwork story for a while. And this is a perfect chance for that. So yeah, it's basically just follows this main character, Joseph, and he's kind of being haunted, we'll say, by a sound. And then it's kind of just follows his story and where that all goes. And yeah, again, that's just my very, very vague tease like everybody else. But yeah, it was fun to write.
Oh, there you go. How about you, Nem? Tease.
My story is called Work for Hire. And people that know me know that I've been developing a science fiction setting called Blood World for a while. That's going to make its appearance in any one world in both comics and novels.
Hey.
And I kind of went token on this one. So I've written 600 years worth of history for this world.
God damn, 600.
And tech manuals and stuff. And so when this came along, I had written this short story previously and decided I wanted to adapt it and bring it to Blood World. So this story is actually a prequel to the actual Blood World comic book. So it's about 300 years beforehand. And it's kind of like James Bond meets 2001 Space Odyssey. So, yeah, so that's going on. And plus it's got pandemic stuff in it. And that was interesting because I didn't realize it until Jess came back with her notes that I had written a pandemic story for this while there's a pandemic going on. So, it's kind of interesting because, I will just give a little tease away. At the time of the story, people are required by international law to inform people, all of their medical history and whether or not they're allowed to touch people and everything and stuff like that. And that's just everyday life. So, I didn't realize I had done it until Jess pointed it out. And then she really helped me just tighten everything up and put it together. And I can't be happier with the way it came out. So
beautiful, beautiful. I love it. And let's talk, again, listen, folks, just hang tight a little bit longer. Because Paul, has an arsenal of creators on this book. This is like him having a Glock 16 And we keep booking shots of amazingness. Next up, introducing. You better unmute your mic right now. Let me introduce the one and only Frasier Armitage. Hey, and he knew who I was talking about. I love it. He was listening.
Hey everyone, great to be here. Thanks for having me, Al.
Fraser, what's popping? How you doing? And no, folks, not the Fraser from TV. This is the next Fraser that's gonna be bigger than that Fraser. All right.
Hey, I'm listening. I'm still listening. You know, it still applies. It's all good. No, I'm doing awesome. Thanks.
So thanks for coming on, bro. So talk about it. How did you hook up with ASAP, Fraser?
So I've been following LA Cunningham on Twitter for donkeys.
LA again. LA. I mean, you got so many of these dudes following you. What are you doing on socials? Jeez.
I'm not taking credit for all of them. Paul brought in a lot of people too.
So then when Points of Villainy and Points of Virtue came out, loved that book. Thought it was absolutely brilliant.
It is brilliant.
And then had an idea for ASAP Minis, and it was that prompted me to get in touch with PA Hayden, with Paul, and we just got chatting about different ideas and stuff. And then when the opportunity came up to write for the Any One World, to pitch something for Perspectives, just leapt at the chance because just love everybody involved with ASAP, and just loved the concept of the anthology, loved what it was for with the Dyspraxia Foundation. So I thought, well, why not? Just go for it. And then fortunately, somehow managed to get a story in with the mix with all of these amazing stories going on all around it. It's great.
Everyone deserves to be there, man. Everyone.
Absolutely. And Fraser, is this your first time being published, or you've been published prior?
Yeah, no, this is the first book ever featured in, so it's like landmark for me. It's it's great.
Beautiful.
It's,
proud of you, kiddo. Congrats.
Thank you. Thanks.
So how did you feel? No, but how did that feel that the first time someone says yes to you?
Oh, it's crazy. It's bonkers. It's like it's a very surreal experience, and I still don't actually, even though I've like got the book and I'm reading the story in the book, it still doesn't actually feel real. It's
like, is that really me? Holy shit.
Yeah.
I get it. I love it. I love it. So talk about that contribution. I mean, what is the title of your story, and can you give us a brief synopsis of what it's about?
Yeah, so my story is called Hear No Evil, and it's about a cop who is investigating a murder, but she has, let's just say, unique methods of how she investigates, which get her into a little bit of trouble. And the story is about. So it's about whether she can sort of solve the crime, and what happens to her. I won't give too much away, but yeah, it all came about from an idea that came about because a few months back, my wife gave birth to our son. And
congratulations, your papa.
Thank you.
Epa.
Thank you. So at the time, COVID restrictions were crazy. So it meant that I was there for the birth. But then shortly afterwards, I only got a short snippet of time with him, and then had to leave onto the ward. So all I had at home were these like photographs that I'd taken, and as I was looking at these photographs, it was like how like you could still like hear like all of those noises because you soak him in so much when he's first there. Could still hear him breathing, could like feel him on my chest as it was just so all of that kind of went into the story. Because that's what was going on in my head at the time that I wrote it. So it's a tribute to him really. So underneath all of that.
What a proud papa! What a proud. I mean, again, that's probably why PA did it, because PA, like myself, is also a proud papa, like a Nem, like a Lori being a proud mom. I'm sure all of us. We're all family here. We got our own, kids and all. So I get that, and for you to use that as a foundation, I love it. I mean, it goes to show that it's real, it's emotional.
Yeah, if we're all bringing like our own perspective, so why not bring something that's real? It's
hey, when you bring in your own perspective, just like the title of the book. Look at these guys using their puns. I love it.
The pun is mightier than the sword.
Hey, ain't that the truth, man? But again, it's like Paul been killing it. I've been proud of him when he told me about this idea and just the fact that he's like, yo, I'm gonna make this happen. I'm like, yo, you got this. Like, don't let nothing or no one tell you you can't. It's just what it is. And I'm again, like a proud Papa Bear. I am very proud of my fellow Crusader that made his initiative happen. When he said I'm gonna do it, he got that business done, and that's what's amazing about it. So let me see. That's Frank. Where you at, Frank? So yeah, yo, dude, this team is just huge. Do I have there we go. Frasier Armitage, folks, right there. Frasier Armitage. This is on Twitter. Frasier, if we wanted to follow you elsewhere, where can we look you up?
You can go to my website, which is just FrasierArmitage.com. You can catch me up on that. But yeah, I'm mainly on Twitter, so feel free to.
We heard a pop and something was off. Are you okay, Frasier?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's probably my internet here. Yeah. So yeah, you can get me on my website, FrasierArmitage.com. But Twitter is my main handle. So yeah, if anybody wants to hit me up on Twitter, feel free. It'd be great to see you.
And there you go. Amazing, yo. Thank you so much for your time to chit chat about your contribution. And now we're going to talk about yet another amazing creator. Yeah, if I put you in the middle, you better turn that mic off. So turn it on, I mean. So let's introduce yet another amazing creator in it, the one and only Mitch Larkins. What's popping, brother?
How you doing, sir? How you doing? Can everybody hear me all right?
We hear you loud and clear. Wepa! Yeah, let's get it going, kiddo. So talk about your contributions. How did you hook up with the one and only ASAP Comics?
So I think pretty much the same story. I think Miss Cunningham popped up on my feed one day, and I'm like, oh, let's follow each other. And, we just, every time we just like send a GIF or a meme for just about every tweet that we make.
I'm about to send LA some high heel shoes with fish in it, because she like pimping ASAP over everybody's like, yo, it was to LA, yo. Yeah, I think this LA, I'm gonna buy you a hat with a feather in it, shoes with fish in it. I mean, you're the pimp for this, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know if she gets paid commissions on how many people she brings to ASP, but like, you probably could retire now.
No, but it's amazing. LA, just a shout out to you, and just using your network. That what? That's so key. So a shout out to you, bless. Again, folks, this is ladies in charge. This is how ladies do it, They use that network and bring in amazing creators to work with an amazing label. So Mitch, talk about your story, man. I mean, is this the first time you get published?
So this isn't the first time I've been published. I actually, back when I was in my early 20s, like 12 years ago now, I was like just, a stupid teenager writing a book. And, my grandfather was like, you'll never get that published. And I was like, oh, well, now it's out of spite now, not just pure creativity.
I get that shit. When family tell you a word, let me prove you wrong just because that's the only reason.
Yeah, absolutely right. So I got it published, and it sold probably like 5 copies. So,
nice.
I haven't.
Don't matter. You did the job. You got it published. Here, Grandpa, buy this shit now because I did it.
Exactly. It was the principle of the matter at that point. But and so I just sat around. I didn't do anything for another decade, and I joined another group, actually another anthology group that was doing a charity as well. I was like, let me see if I still got it. So I threw something together. I gave it to them, and they picked it up. So I'm like, well, maybe I should start writing again. And so I've published two other novels, a lit RPG series called Wild Worlds. I've got a third that I'm kind of tinkering with right now. And then I think Miss Cunningham shared Perspectives. It was another anthology, and I saw that it was for kids. I was like, well, I can't pass that up. I'm going to do what little I can. And I had a short story that I had written last year or the year before because I was trying to see if I could do horror and see what kind of twist on, perspectives that I could do. So I pulled that out, and that got accepted. I was like, okay, well, maybe I could try to do some horror stuff too, but that stuff's hard.
Nice. But you did it though. That's the key.
Exactly. So, I did it, and I had fun writing it. I really enjoyed it.
Look at this. So most of us knew LA previously, but she had only made PA first introduced us all. So if I had met him before, I'd still be in the same place. So regardless, however, though, LA has been like a main puzzle piece in the excelling of the brand. So kudos to the lady. So Mitch,
It's
tell us.
interesting to know.
So tell us the title of your story and where we going with it.
So my story's called The Hunted. That's actually like the third version of the title because I'm terrible at titles, and during the editing process, Miss Mondy, her team proposed that. I said, "Listen, that's better than what I had originally, so let's roll with it." And you know, I don't know if I'm good at a description for it, which is kind of bad because I'm a writer, right? So I'm supposed to be able to do that kind of thing. But it's basically an extended chase scene, and the way I like to write is I don't like to force in like a moral or anything like that. I want it to be left up to the reader. And when I had it first reviewed, people were taking different things from it. But it's basically about a young girl in the woods and something chasing after her, and the decision she has to make to try to be able to survive.
Oh, interesting. What was the inspiration behind that?
The inspiration, I don't really know. You know, like most of us here, I think I'm a parent as well, and a lot of the media I was taking in, and not to spoil too much, but it was about like, you know, the relationship between kids and their parents and how protective the parents are, you know, at the same time trying to let the kid grow and, you know, become more adults or more responsible, more independent. And I think that all kind of tied into this.
Gotcha.
To make this story.
Gotcha, I have to say, this is another one of those incredibly clever stories that just incredibly that popped out for me in the anthology. I mean, all of them are great, but this was when I read it, this was one of my favorites as well because it was one of those stories where I didn't see what was coming, so it was really cool.
Nice.
Well, I really appreciate that because I never know if I'm good at twists or not. You know, like any writer will attest with that. Well, nobody's going to think this is smart. Nobody's going to think this is funny. So when you get feedback and they're like, "Oh, well, I didn't expect this to happen," or "That was really funny," it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm not too terrible at this.
Ah, man, never underrate your talent, my kiddo. You got this. Well, you're gonna, and of course, when you're hooking up with PA and LA, look at PA and LA. They sound like mobsters, don't they? Yeah. Yeah, we got to talk to PA in LA, and I could see them in a club with the music pumping, smoking cigars, talking about.
Yeah,
I'll listen to your story. Come over.
Hey, not to mention their lead editor is called Sarah the Butcher. There, so
hey, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, if I don't like your shit, I'm gonna cut you up. I get scared, yo. I get scared. You know what I mean? Awesome. But yo, Mitch, thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you,
right
man.
now, I'm gonna add yet another amazing team member of yours.
Thank you.
The one and only Martin Freznell, kiddo. Yo, let's start talking, kiddo. Turn off that mic, turn on the mic and let us know what's popping. Martin, you there?
Oh, Martin?
Martin? Mr. Freznell, check your audio settings, por favor. Sounding like an airline stewardess. But, bro, this has actually been great. ASAP Comics UK, 1 year anniversary, Dyspraxia Foundation. You guys are just smashing it. You guys are bringing positivity and love to something, Again, using your brand for positivity is always the best way to go, at least in my opinion. And I'm happy to see that. And I hope Martin could turn on his joint. Where is he? The mic is dead, he goes. The mic is... And he spells Mike like the name Mike. Jen, get to work. Yeah, what's going on here? Tell him. I love it. But you guys have been awesome thus far. I'm going to give them a minute or two to see what's popping. But Paul,
yes,
share some thoughts so far. So we've been talking here for almost 2 hours. We've been displaying your amazing family. How do you feel? Like, having the opportunity to chit chat with your extended fam?
It's great. I've just been, the one thing that I've enjoyed about this is I've just sat back and just watched, because it was, and a big thank you to Sophie for joining us. I'm very, very grateful to her for coming on. So it was really, really nice to have someone from the Dyspraxia Foundation, and then it's so nice to see this now come together, and so great to hear people's stories. And there's Martin.
Oh.
Martin, are we hearing you?
I managed to find the button. Hello,
Martin. Wait, but hold on. So go ahead and finish your thought, Paul.
No, and it's just great. I've just enjoyed sitting back and watching people talk about their moments. And for me, having all these first-time people get published has just meant so much, and it's so great to be at the beginning of their journey. And they should be so proud. And I've had messages of people thanking me, and it's like, it's your story. Your story got you in.
But listen, bro,
what you did.
But you're opening doors, Paul, because again, you know how it is. I mean, even with you, they want to send you, when you join the Crusaders, like, I only open up recruiting every once in a while. So I'm happy that you were there to hail the call. And when you responded, you were at that crossroads in your life where, like, what do I do? And, I'm glad that we were able to politic like we did. And I hope that I helped and inspiring your journey, because when you brought it to me, you already know. I was like, yeah, just fucking do it. Don't be scared. Like, just do it, bro, because you're coming from a good place. And when you come from a good place, those things last.
Yeah.
Like, folks, when you do things from the bottom of your heart, you're really going to have longevity with it. If you do this shit out of a bad place, trust me, you're only going to be around for those 15 minutes. But like, Almega, PA, we're not trying to hang out for 15 minutes. We're trying to hang out for 1,500 years right now. These are the motherfuckers that made this happen. Like, yes, let's do it. And so with that, Martin, thank you for finally being able to come on and fixing your joints. We apologize for it. Yeah, he's doing it. Yo, Nike, don't sue us, yo. I love it. So talk about your contribution right there, Martin. First of all, not even your contribution, but how did you meet ASAP?
I met most of the gang actually through Twitter as well.
Twitter again, folks.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I published a book. Actually, I published 2 books.
2?
And yeah.
So you've been in the game already.
I've been trying to, yeah. And I decided to get on social media to try and push my book onto a public. And instead, I found a neat group of friends and writers, also creatives, and I'm constantly wasting time with them on Twitter. And especially Laurie, Sarah, Jess, and Paul Nolan. I mean, just a neat crew to hang out with constantly. And when they came up with the idea to publish a book, I just jumped on because I thought publishing with these people, that would be awesome.
All right. So what was it about it though? Again, so you saw the opportunity, and you saying you jumped on, and what did it? You felt the energy behind it.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Yeah. I feel that energy too.
Just having the opportunity to publish something with people I consider friends, it's just it's just a great chance. You're not gonna pass it on.
So talk about your story. What's the title of the story, and can you give us a brief synopsis of what we could expect?
It's called Anuna's Choice. It's a coming of age story, basically, of a young warlock, a young witch. She's in Harry Potter style, but more gothic kind of school, and she's studying magic, and she comes into contact with some dark magic. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
That's all it is. So they're messing with some dark business. They have no idea.
Simple story. It's just a dark fantasy story. Very A to Z. Very short story. I think it's okay. It's okay little story.
You know what? Don't you love when these people are so humble? It's okay. I'm pretty sure that this is one of those kick-ass stories. You know what I mean? And
I don't
that's
think
gonna
so.
make you want to buy this book, like even
I want
sooner.
to take the opportunity to thank Jess for her input into the story. By the way, it was great working with you on it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was lots of fun working with you and Anuna. I hope I said that right.
So
That's the main character.
So how is that experience working with ASAP and the editorial team? Was there anything new that you experienced?
Very chaotic. I've never worked with such a chaotic team before, which was actually lovely. Especially because they're friends.
Listen, bro, when it
and-
comes to chaos, there's
Yeah.
always there's the family chaos that somehow always works, and I love it.
Yeah, it's the opposite of the bureaucratic way of doing things. It's just like we're going that way, and it sort of works out somehow, which is amazing. As for the editing, as I said, it was really nice. Really, my way of working is really like no nonsense. Like this, I would cut. This, I would cut. Let's change this. Let's change this. Couple of emails and case closed. So amazing. Real pleasure. I've worked with other editors and I've run into a lot of issues before, so it was a real pleasure to find that wasn't the case this time. Real pleasure.
There you go, the real pleasure, bro. So talk about that experience though. So when you say it's a real pleasure, what type of nightmares may you have experienced prior? 'Cause that's what it makes me think about.
Yeah, for instance, I had a publication. I worked for an NGO, Medicine for the Third World, and had a publication which was rather important because I was also doing fundraising, and it was an important tool to do that fundraising.
Yes.
And there were problems with translations because it was a French-Dutch publication, and it was a constant back and forth of changing little things in the text, in the French text, and then also in the translation. And I mean, that was a nightmare. It took like 3 weeks of constant back and forthing, and other people also doing the same job, but during, and then a bureaucratic kind of chaos ensued, and it was an absolutely terrible way to try to get this thing done. I mean, it wasn't even the editor's fault, really, because it was just a mess all around. And that's another way to do things, more traditional way, I think. And that, I think the difference is the people involved with this project are more passionate about it, more involved, and that's why it just happens. It just flows automatically in the right direction instead of when that's not really the case, when you're just working with cold professionals who are watching the clock.
Gotcha. Everybody watching the clock. That's what they do. But it's been awesome, brother. So again, let me see. Mitch, where were you at? So let's see where you were at.
Thanks for having me on, by the way.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, mate.
No, thank you for coming out. What's your social handle? Because I don't even see you here. I have so many social handles.
Freznell, Martin Freznell, normally.
There you go. You make sure to check them out. Where you at? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, Twitter is best. I'm also on Facebook, but
I gotta laugh. Everybody hates Twitter, but everybody's on Twitter.
It's a love-hate relationship that we have with it.
I love it. All right, folks. With that, Mark, let me just share this real quick on screen before you guys go. Before you go, hold on. Gotta do it. I gotta do it, Martin. I gotta do this. Hold on. Chill with me a moment. And Paul, talk about the greatness of ASAP while I do this.
Well, one of the things I was going to say actually is I've been checking throughout. While we've been talking, we've had sales while we've been talking.
Oh, beautiful! Hey, thank you, everybody.
So it's really great, awesome. And we just since the book's come out, we've raised just under £300 already. Beautiful. For Dyspraxia, which is just a few days, So, and we're just now bringing it, and this is going to help massively. So, thank you. You're bringing it to people's attention. So, thank you for those that have bought, for those that have already done so. We're very, very grateful. It's awesome, man.
It is, man. Make sure to please follow the ASAP family. I'm going to display them there. The main folks that have been hanging out with us all day. PA, LA, Sarah, You know, we got, you know, big old Nam right there. Kelsey, you know, she was amazing. You know, Jesse, the ultimate EIC. Wepa, para que tu sepa. You know, shout out to Sophie. You know, from
Yeah, thank you to
Dyspraxia.
Sophie.
Thank you for coming on, and please, again, check it out right there. Visit, you know, the website, visit the social, understand what this is all about. Maybe your kid is going through this and you don't know yet. So, you know, show that love. There was
Can I?
unfortunately some team members that couldn't show up today, but a shout out to Mike and you know, to Vandyke and everybody. Martin did show up, so thank you.
Can I add just one thing?
Yeah.
For the listeners, one thing that would really help us a lot is that if you enjoy the book, you just leave a review on Amazon or on Goodreads
Yes,
or whatever.
yes.
Thank you, man. Yeah,
it helps
Yep.
so much to bring it to the people. If you're shopping for a book and there's no reviews, you're just gonna skip it. That's just what
It's
people
true.
are. But if there's
You know-
like 10 reviews there and they're like, yeah, this is a great book and blah blah blah, you know, that's the book you're gonna pick up. So if you enjoy the book, why not just type in a few
Listen.
kind words?
Thank you for actually bringing that up.
Yeah, I just thought I would do a little bit of marketing there.
No, that's not just marketing, but it's just the truth, folks. I mean, this book is being created for a good cause. So show the love, share your commentary, your positive commentary, please, and support this. I mean, it's made by an amazing group of people that are actually situated all over the world. I mean, I'm just speaking on behalf of my fellow Comic Crusaders. They're nowhere near Paul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a big shout out to them, man. I mean, follow the whole perspective teams. You know, visit the website as I've been showing. I mean, no doubt, give them some love. Take a look at the amazing projects they're involved with. You know, take a look at them on social because Paul listened and he made sure he secured his joint everywhere with ASAP Comics UK. And he's built an amazing team. He's done something that's just wonderful in just 1 year. So, Paul, really, bro, just talk real quick about that, bro.
Oh God.
ASAP, the support you're getting and what you're doing now. Thank you, but just go ahead. This is your moment. Like, share.
So we've got. I mean, year one was amazing. It was so great, and we hit the ground running, and we're not slowing down. You know, we've got more coming for our main continuity. There's Sister Grimm, you know, coming from LA Cunningham. We've got the first of the tale. So we're going to do like a run of books, Tales of POV. Sarah is writing the first one of those, and she's just started at the minute. Obviously we've got all the level 8 stuff for Nem as well. DT's coming on to do some pre-event stuff, so we're going to have some of that classic kind of superheroes in costume. I'll dot around all over. We've got some massive things coming for Any One World as well, so we were so happy to kick it off with this, as you know. And with minis, we've got the next book, which is actually, you know, well, we've got one book coming out that's drawn, so the artistry is by Katie Wright, and then the book after that is going to be my book with Adam Henshaw, and that is a very important book because it's about a superhero, which is basically Alfie, which is my son, and it's a superhero who has dyspraxia, and his powers are dyspraxia based.
Oh,
and so it's taking, and the thing that I love about this the most is my son Alfie, who's 7, sat with me and we worked out those powers together, and he figured out, and he's decided that he's got to go in the book, so we're having him in the book as creative consultant, because he literally, you know, one of the things I loved about it was he talked in great detail about his understanding of what he has is incredible. Gotcha. I was talking with Sophie about this yesterday, and for a 7-year-old, he could explain 10 times better dyspraxia than I could if I'd sat there and read up on it and researched. He could literally just lay it out. So to have a book with him as a superhero with that condition is going to be a wonderful thing. So I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome. And let's
Alright.
go to Cunningham, and let's cut to Cunningham real quick.
Hey.
She been the boss lady over here. Everybody like, yo, I got connected through LA. She sound like she like the Lucius of ASAP. What's going on here? So talk about LA. I mean, everybody blessed you talking about like, yo, they had their entry point through you. How does that feel? And what can we expect from you in the future? Because people are definitely all about supporting you and, you know, bless you for being that avenue to bring in new creators. Yo, you're awesome. That's something really special that you're doing. So God bless you for being that door opener for people that didn't have that chance prior. So again, how does that make you feel? And what else can we expect in the world of LA?
Well, like I said before, it's just such an easy thing to sell people. Like I've mentioned it to Paul a million times that once he starts talking, you just get sucked in and you have no choice but to want to be a part of it. So it's really
It's the accent. It's the accent.
Yeah, it's the accent. People love the accent. But yeah, it's just really easy to want to be a part of this. And fortunately, other people see that too. It's not just me. So yeah, it's like, and the team has grown. Like there's kind of like the little core of us doing the main continuity, but now we got Jess and Kelsey and just people like, even like Jess was having contractions like while she was editing. Like,
oh my
people
gosh,
just, like how much it means. They were false contractions, but still, she was like, this is how much this all means to people. Like it just really is. And like Kelsey was helping us while she was on vacation and stuff. Like people just want to be a part of this, and it's so easy to sell. And like I know there's 3 other writers in the book who couldn't join us today, but I shout out to there's C. Vandyke and Michael D. Nadeau, assuming I'm saying that right, and Arnie Misery. Like they just, like everyone just contributed so much to this, and it's an honor that they're a part of this and that I get to be a part of this. And yeah, and I'm just excited to keep going really and do everything I can and keep making projects like this and working with the team, and hopefully we can grow and I can lure more people in. So yeah,
so let's keep doing it.
Unstoppable.
Let's keep doing it. Let's bringing amazing talent to ASAP. You guys are doing amazing things, supporting a great cause. All of you, I'm proud of you. You know, a lot of you are crusaders, so it's like I'm like wowed by that. So thank you, Paul, for allowing my Crusaders to be part of your extended family and ASAP.
Thank you, man.
And their contributions. You yourself are a Crusader, so thank you for everything you do, and just the love, bro, and your passion. You know, you're incredible, bro. So don't nobody tell you any different. You know, you're doing what you got to do.
Thank you, man.
With that, this has been a celebration, folks. 1 year, ASAP Comics UK. Wow, 1 year. I mean, you've done amazing things in this first year. So a salute and a cheers to 100 more years of amazing contributions and creations. God bless and keep going forward. That nobody stop you. You got this, my brother. Much love. I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of all of you. And this has been a great show. So with that, I'm Omega. You know what to do. You know, follow the fam everywhere on Comic Crusaders on social. The real Omega on socials. Yeah, I locked everything down. I don't play. And the same thing with ASAP, right, Paul?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's ASAP Comics UK everywhere, right?
It is everywhere. Yeah.
Now you know. So don't waste no time. Follow, support, show the love. And especially when it comes to this specific project, I need you guys to go visit Amazon right now. It's available now. You'll support it. All these funds, all proceeds. Okay, you hear that? I'm saying it again for the 3rd time. All proceeds go to the Dyspraxia Foundation. They're doing this out of love, folks. So make sure you support that love, that positivity within a very wonderful comic book community. All right? I'm Omega with Paul Hayden, Nemesis, Elliot Cunningham, Shadewing, Martin, Sarah, Jess. Thank you for tuning in. Celebrate the cause. Do what you do. Thank you for tuning in. And hasta la próxima, mi gente. Much love.
Thank you, man.